the fact I'm a football coach. It's a competitive thing. I despise for people to beat us.
To Elliott, who goes sweeping to the left side. Gets to the 20, loose to the 30, to the 40, down the left side to the 50 goes Elliott. He's going to take it to the house. 30, 20, 10. Touchdown, Ezekiel Elliott. 85 yards. Back is Dorsey to throw. And he throws it in the end zone. It's incomplete. The Buckeyes win the national championship.
It's Everything Buckeye Nation, the voice of the fan, with your hosts, Jake Smith and Corey Boyd.
17 seconds early.
Well,
We've got a new man on the soundboard.
That's what happens when you give me the soundboard.
Everybody's favorite. Welcome in, everybody. The Everything Buckeye Nation show here on Fan Chat Nation, a Producer G production. Jake Smith here, Corey Boyd, Producer G. As always, the Dream Team coming at you live. We appreciate you joining us today. Bittersweet day, I think, in the minds of Buckeye fans. I know a lot of people are pretty bummed with the news. I know a lot of people are excited for the future. So over the next hour or so, we'll get your takes and see how you feel. See how you feel and see what we can do to honor Coach Meyer tonight. Corey, this news broke, of course, that Urban Meyer is retiring after the Rose Bowl, and Ryan Day will be the new head coach. No interim tag, straight up. He's the next guy up. And that news broke this morning about, 7:30 or 8?
Yeah, it was real early.
I mean,
really early.
I woke up, checked my phone. I'm not sure I couldn't really believe it at first. I was just kind of surprised by the timing. I don't know. I mean, what's your thoughts on the situation?
I'm not shocked. Not shocked. Earlier than I thought.
Yeah.
But I am not shocked of all the rumors, about how bad his health was. It was worse than I thought, his health. Especially hearing, reading some reports and, the first things first, that I watched for Chris Carter. I was like, wow.
That was a great video.
Yeah, so it was a lot worse than I thought. I still hate how the commentators pan to him when things were going bad during the game. I still stand by what I said. I'm going to look stressed out if my team is losing. I'm still going to stand by that, even though his health was a lot worse than what I thought it was. If my team is losing, especially to a team that I'm not supposed to look to, I'm going to look stressed out.
Yeah.
But listening to Chris Carter and some of the reports and from Urban himself, it looks like it was, time to move on.
I guess so. Certainly, kind of a surprise at this timing, I would say. So we'll dive into all things Coach Meyer, this whole story tonight. Talk some Ryan Day. They had a press conference today at 2 o'clock. We'll get you some quotes from all that and talk about the Big Ten title game, of course, as well, and just kind of wrap some things up. We've got all kinds of stuff to talk about if we get to it. So want to take some time. Appreciate everybody here in the comment section. I'm on Facebook. Timothy Roberts, Laura BP, JP Pooley, Bill True. What's up, everybody? Olin Bradley. Johnny Wright says, hey, at least now my Wolverines might have a chance. I got to think some Wolverine fans are pretty happy today. But at the same time, I wonder, I'm sure it would have been a much bigger pleasure for them to beat Urban Meyer, and especially Jim Harbaugh. I got to think that he might be a little relieved, but also kind of bummed because he wanted to get a crack at Urban one more time up in Ann Arbor and see if he could do it. But that's just how it goes. Jonathan Guerin in here, Kyle Barr, Carrie Lynn, our gal. Hey, Carrie. Sally and Mike Williams coming from Pennsylvania. Appreciate everybody in the comments here. So, kind of a sad day. I was listening to Coach Meyer at his press conference. Definitely bummed out. Got a little emotional, not going to lie. It's been a fantastic 7 years. We'll get to some of his numbers here shortly, but, it's the end of an era, that's for sure. We're definitely going to miss Coach Meyer, but I think, he's almost handpicked Ryan Day to succeed him, and it's a bright young mind. I think Ohio State is going to be in good hands. I think so.
Yeah. I want to say this. I'm not speaking to any fans here in our comment section, but I did see some watching the Facebook Live interview that I watched. Mm-hmm. Be careful what you wish for. And I'll leave it at that. Some people were happy. Yes. Yay. I seen that. Okay. Be careful what you wish for. Like we're going to go over his numbers later, but I think people he's a great coach.
Yeah.
Phenomenal. And we all have our moments. We're emotional fans, when you're getting the doors blown off you as a team you're supposed to beat. We have our moments. But be careful what you wish for. Tressel. Urban. We've been very fortunate to have two great coaches back to back. Now, this is not anything against Ryan Day. I'm just going into the present and what we have right now. Be careful, because I've seen some fans watching the live. Yeah, all right, woo, I'm happy. Get out of here. I'm like, really? Okay. Just not saying anything, any of the fans here. I'm just saying, across the nation, so I've seen some people saying some pretty harsh things toward Urban Meyer, and I'm like, you got to be kidding me.
And I think it was a good time for him to do so. The reason behind their timing, like before the Rose Bowl, their reasoning was that there's 2 national signing days coming up. There's an early signing period for recruits here in December, and then there's the national signing day, first Tuesday in February, I believe, maybe Wednesday. But they wanted to do it now and put it out there so that he wouldn't retire after the Rose Bowl and then have everybody say, oh, he knew this whole time. He didn't tell those recruits that I mean, we would get thrown to the dogs for that story. We would. So it kind of makes sense. And the story is that a lot of staffers, a lot of the important core members of this Ohio State football staff will stay in place. Director of Recruiting, Mark Pantoni. Strength and conditioning coach Mick Marotti will stay. That's huge. That is enormous. Ryan Stamper in player development and Brian Voltolini in director of football operations. All of those folks are supposed to stay in place. So it should be a very seamless transition, I should say. Day's not bringing in a whole entirely new staff, shaking everything up. The system works, and he succeeded, obviously, in training camp in the first 3 weeks of the season. So I like that they're keeping them there. They said in the press conference today that they're going to evaluate all the coaching staff after the Rose Bowl. I got to think plenty of coaching changes will be made. Hopefully Shiano, Bill Davis, and probably Coach Stud on the O-line. I'd be all right with seeing all of them go. Coaches I want to have stay, Larry Johnson, Brian Hartline, absolutely. Ryan Day was the quarterback's coach, so I'm sure he'll bring in his own guy. And then Tony Alford's been outstanding at running backs as well. So there's sure to be some shakeup, but I think with this move, there's very little shakeup, and that's important for this team going forward, I think.
Yeah, I've seen a lot of people saying why didn't they go for a bigger fish or, do a search and all this. Like you said, they didn't want to switch things up. They didn't want to – it's working. Why go through all that? Why go for the big search? Why change everything up? And I see a lot of people saying, well, Day was 3-0, and he was. Yeah, but it's going to be different. Just like my guy, Dwayne Haskins.
Yeah.
He started off on fire. Had his little, his little pits.
Cool down a little bit.
Cool down. It's going to happen.
Mid-season.
Especially when you're the guy. Now he's the guy. The expectations of an Ohio State coach is a whole nother beast. 1 minute they love you. Woo! Man.
I mean, if Coach Meyer, over the past 7 years, Coach Meyer's had his fair share of, he needs to go. This is ridiculous.
Yeah.
It's like, Urban Meyer?
Yeah.
Really? So now Ryan Day, a man who's never been the head coach of any program, all of a sudden you're the head football coach at The Ohio State University? He says he understands, he and his wife and family understand what that means and what that comes with. And I'm sure they do to a little bit of a degree, but he'll find out. And he could quickly become, a pariah. But things are set up well for him to succeed.
I think one thing in his pocket that will help him, I don't know if there's any more adversity he could go through in one season that he went through this year, as far as scandals and being an interim head coach for 3 games and having the Urban Meyer name and just taking over for 3 games for Urban Meyer. Going through that's going to help him when times get tough, because they will. They will get tough here at Ohio State. So I want to see what this team looks like under Ryan Day. I'm kind of excited to see what it's going to look like, what recruits we get with Ryan Day, because people don't forget about the recruiting beast that Urban Meyer is.
And, part of the reasoning I feel pretty confident in Day's recruiting style is he's been very good since he's been at Ohio State with recruiting, and with Mark Pantoni staying on as the director of recruiting, the day-to-day operations don't change. Their scouting, their watching film, none of that changes. Their staff identifying talent, finding guys. I saw a comment like Chris Olave, a 3-star kid who missed the majority of his senior year, and their staff found him. And the same staff's going to find other gem prospects across the nation. So that's going to be huge. And Ryan Day's been able to, sit down and sit in those living rooms and make those big pitches. And I think any experience you can get under Urban Meyer's is a huge deal. So I'm seeing a lot of comments, Laura BP and Carrie talking about recruiting. I think it has to take a step back a little bit. That's just being realistic. Urban Meyer's had a top 5, top 10 recruiting class every year since he got here. And, obviously it is the Ohio State University. Come here, win a championship, get to the pros. All of that is going to be the same, but you don't have the closer anymore.
Yeah. And that's the thing. Urban Meyer is a name that can just draw you.
Yeah.
Close the deal. Urban Meyer. I'm there. That's all you got to say. That's it to get a kid to go to Ohio State. So that's something that's going to have to change. And I think people have to understand that's going to be a challenge, at least to me.
I just wanted to remind you about when Stacy was here and he was telling the recruitment story about Zeke, and that's all he needed to hear was Urban Meyer. Oh my God, he likes my son, and that was it. So that's kind of what you're talking about there.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, it's definitely going to be a transition recruiting-wise, but like JP says, Meyer is a brand name. I mean, you hear Urban Meyer like, oh, okay. And Ryan Day can get to that point, but it might take him a little while. And it should be,
I mean, and I remember when Tressel was let go. I was crushed. This is a little different. I'm May. I was crushed when Tressel got let go because I thought it was stupid.
Well,
I thought it was stupid. It was terrible. And if I had a show like this back then, oh Lord, oh buddy.
Get the bleep button.
They would have had a censor button out for me then. But this here, I think I'm a little. It's because I didn't know it was that bad. You know what I mean? Reading it and hearing Chris Carter's story, I was like, it was that bad. Man, it was that bad. Like
Chris Carter said on TV today, he thought Urban might die on the sidelines.
And I get chronic migraines. So I can only imagine going through that because coaching is stressful. Like we get stressed as fans when we lose. We don't want to watch ESPN the next day. We don't want to hear nothing you have to say about our team. We don't want to hear ESPN talk about anything else the next day. And that's us as fans. Could you imagine being a coach and having to deal with that? So I just think that part of it got me like, wow, it was that bad. So
I got
that's what got me.
A couple things from Chris Carter today. He's on his TV show First Things First on Fox. And so not only did he tell him some great Urban Meyer stories and information, I think we posted that video on our Facebook page along with our Twitter page at everythingbn, as in Buckeye Nation. Go check that out. But alongside those comments, he also said that Urban Meyer, they're very close because Urban was a graduate assistant at Ohio State when Chris Carter was there. He was a wide receivers coach when Chris Carter was there. And then, they've kind of stayed in touch. Chris Carter coaches a little bit down at St. Thomas Aquinas, which Urban has recruited very hard over the years, not just at Ohio State. And they're very close friends. They're very close together. So another thing that Chris Carter said was Urban told him Ryan Day is the best offensive coordinator he's ever had. Now, he's had Dan Mullen. He's had Tom Herman, who are running Florida and Texas right now. Two very, very bright offensive minds. And if he thinks Ryan Day is the best offensive coordinator he's ever had, that means, that stands out.
That's deep.
That is big time. So, we'll see. That makes me feel extra confident that Urban said that and divulged that to a close friend of his, that he is incredibly confident in Ryan Day. And Coach Meyer even said so earlier that it was his goal to hand off the program to an, quote, elite coach and person. So not only is he a brilliant offensive mind, a great coach, but he's an even better guy. And I think you could see that in the early goings of the season with his interviews, the way he treated his players, the way his players talk about him. They speak glowingly about him. So I think he will fit in well. It's just going to have to come, we're just going to have to wait and see. And at this point, we are so very grateful for Urban Meyer and his 7 years here. It's kind of interesting that he had 7 years at Florida, too, before he just kind of fizzled out a little bit.
Yeah, so you can tell it's a health thing. I want to thank everybody for watching on YouTube at Everything Buckeye Nation. Make sure you hit a like and subscribe there. Big C over on YouTube said, "What's going on, fellas? Urban will be missed. He's on his recruiting trail. Already lost a 4-star safety in 2020. He says, I think Day will be just fine. He's inheriting a solid team." That's from Big C on YouTube. Appreciate you for watching, Big C.
Yes, sir. It is going to be interesting to see how the recruiting aspect changes. We have lost one commitment in the 2020 class, defensive back, Legend Cavazos was his name, Legend. Now, he said he's still considering Ohio State. He just wants to keep his options open, and his family was very close with Coach Meyer and his family. So now, he's in his junior year of high school right now. He wants to make sure, he has the right fit, and I understand that. I can't blame the kid for that, certainly. So we'll see about how recruiting, we'll see if we get any more decommits. It's, it's an important time right now with the early signing period coming up in a week or so, a week or two, and then, National Signing Day on early February. It's an important time, so I'm glad that they came out now and they made this statement now that Urban Meyer is going to retire after the Rose Bowl. Ryan Day will take over, and everything is just business as usual, really. And that way, they can lay it out for the recruits. Coach Meyer even said today in his press conference that he talked to a couple recruits. He called them on the phone and said, "What do you think? What would you think about this?" Because it sounded like he was like halfway in, halfway out. And if this was going to really screw up the program, he wasn't going to do it, because that's what he said. It was really important to hand it off to a good coach and a good person, but he wanted to keep the program going, basically keep it up and running. This train doesn't stop.
Exactly. Looking at a couple comments here. An interesting one, and did I just miss it? Yes, I did. Somebody in the comments said they think Ryan Day will be a better coach than Urban Meyer.
Well, what makes you think that?
I lost the comment, though. Man. Here it is. Alan Russell. In my opinion, Ryan Day will be even better than Coach Meyer. And that's from Alan Russell here on Facebook.
All right, Alan. I hope you're right. That would be pretty difficult.
That's a bold statement.
Bold predictions
to make.
Well, let me run down a few of Coach Meyer's ridiculous stats here, folks. This is just insane. As if you didn't know, over 7 years, he went 82-9. The team went 85-9 over that span, but the first 3 games of this year don't go towards Urban Meyer's credit. 82-9.
Can I stop you real quick?
Years. Go ahead.
That's 90%. Go ahead. 90%. Okay.
Nobody's ever done that, for what it's worth. 3 Big Ten titles, 57-5 in the Big Ten in 7 years. 5 Big Ten losses in 7 years. 24 straight wins to start his Ohio State career. 1 national championship. And perhaps most importantly of all, 7-0 against the Wolverines. He has more regular season losses at Ohio State than
yeah. No, I'm laughing at that. That you just told me. That's crazy.
It's just, not to mention all the talent that has gone into the NFL in the last few years. I mean, just watching the Saints and Cowboys game last Thursday night, it was like Buckeye after Buckeye after Buckeye after Buckeye. So much fun.
It's like they knew each other. Okay, I know what you're about to do right here.
Yeah.
So, let me go ahead and stop that. Los Dos has asked us a couple times in the comments on Facebook. We see your comment, and if we miss a comment, we do apologize. We're just trying to get all the information out. Los Dos says, the USC Notre Dame rumors, what do you think about those as far as Urban Meyer going there? Of course, as soon as he retired, rumors are going out that he's coaching all these different places.
Brian Kelly might not be at Notre Dame that much longer.
So what do you think about those rumors?
Well, I think it's certainly a fair question. Obviously, they've come true before, but I'm not sure. Urban says he is fairly certain he's done coaching, and I'm led to believe him. He cited his reasons as his family's in Columbus. He loves where he lives in Muirfield. I mean, how could you not? His family's here. He's got his grandkids here. He's got another one on the way. He cracked a joke at the press conference. I don't know if you saw that. He opened the press conference. His opening statement was, it's his grandson's second birthday today. He's like, I imagine that's why you're all here. He's got family here. His son, Nate, is at the University of Cincinnati, just an hour and a half away or so, playing baseball. He wants to go see him play, and he said he wants to be here. He's an Ohio guy. The Notre Dame idea, I can understand it. And maybe, he's only 54. Mm-hmm. And you see guys like Mac Brown just took the head coaching job at North Carolina, and he's 67. These guys, this is all they do. Yeah. It's in their blood. Yeah. So can I see him coach another team someday? Sure. Mm-hmm. And I tell you what, I'll probably root for him. But right now, he's making the right decision for him. He said in a quote here, this is what he said today in the press conference: the style of coaching that I've done for 33 years is very intense, very demanding. I've tried to delegate more and CEO-ish more, and the product started to fail. I had to step in. The challenge was, can I continue to do that in that style? And he came to the conclusion that he can. It's best for his overall well-being to step away, and I think he's doing it at a good time.
Over here on YouTube, just want to forget our YouTube viewers. Thanks for watching. Big C says, do you guys think Day taking over changes the juniors' minds about staying next year? And Cheryl says, hey, fellas, I'm glad Coach Meyer is stepping down to take care of his health and spend time with his family.
It's, it really is the right move for him. And when he first left Florida, he went to ESPN in this sort of analyst role or whatever, and it just so happened that his dream job came open. So he took it, and he did a marvelous job here over 7 years. And I think it would have to be something really, really special for him to get back into coaching. And, maybe it'll come up down the line. I think Notre Dame might be the only program that he would try to lead, but that, it would surprise me. It really would. I don't see him as an NFL guy. People have talked about that. Like, well, the Browns need a coach and the Bengals need a coach. He's still there, but and I don't really see that. I mean, I think it's more personal in the college game, and that's what he's all about.
The way he sounded in the press conference, to me, as of right now, I don't see it. Especially if he's talking about wanting to stay around.
Yeah.
Wanting to stick around and be involved in some capacity. That doesn't sound like somebody who wants to just coach some different school and start all over. It seems like he wants to help on what he helped build. It's just that being the head coach and taking on those day-to-day responsibilities and the stress that is taking on him.
Day to day.
It's not for him right now.
Ryan Day.
Oh.
Well, Urban says that he will be sticking around. He will have some sort of role in the athletic department for now, which I like that a lot. And he'll be assisting with recruiting for at least the next month, and will meet with kids when they come visit campus. I think that's pretty cool. He's a Buckeye, born and bred. He wants to be around. He just can't coach at that level with that much intensity. Zachary Knox says, you think he'll be involved with prep for the game? I'd have to think so. I'd have to think. I think Ryan Day would give him a.
He has an impeccable record, so his resume speaks for itself.
It certainly does. Amber Decker says, I foresee him taking a year off to get his health in order. Then we'll have to see what he does from there. For sure. Jordan Baker, he wants to stay and do something with the athletic side of Ohio State. I like that. Michael Egan says he's not going to coach at another school. Ohio State is as good as it gets. And Kyle Barr, from what Chris Carter said, I don't think he will. I would be surprised if he took another job, but, you never know, man. 5 years from now.
I'll tell you this, Urban Meyer, Ryan Day, I think Carrie said this earlier in the comments, and I was saying this, he has some big shoes to fill. Jim Tressel, Urban Meyer, Ryan Day. You following those two, man, oh man. Hey, buddy. Hey, buddy boy.
John Dorsey. Ready to be the number one pick?
That is some huge shoes to fill. And you got to have some moxie if you're ready to do that.
Well, we'll get to
it's kind of in comparison to the Earl Bruce and Woody Hayes situation. You can definitely compare it to that. I don't know if you guys are familiar with that situation, but succeeding a legendary coach like that. Earl Bruce, though, he had some success. He didn't win a championship, but I mean, if Ryan Day can do that level of success like Earl Bruce had, I think you'd be pretty satisfied.
Yeah, I mean, I don't foresee this being an 8-4 program.
But then again, who knows? He's so unknown. He could come out and be the greatest coach of all time. We don't know.
Well, that's the thing. And football, not only in good point, G, not only in the NFL but also college, is everybody wants to have that young offensive mind because everybody sees what Sean McVay is doing with the LA Rams. Dude's 33 or 34 and running this high-powered offense. Everybody wants to mimic that. And Ryan Day is another example of that. He's a young, upstart, hotshot offensive coordinator that could be able to – I mean, dude's only 39. Mm-hmm. That's ridiculous.
It's becoming a young man's game. It really is. And I could be wrong for saying this, and you can pull this clip.
Uh-oh.
I've been wrong before. But I think North Carolina messed up.
With Mac Brown?
Yeah. I'm sorry. I could be wrong. Like
he did
I said.
so well with them, in the 90s, though. Yeah. So it was kind of like maybe
you can pull the clip and say, boy, you messed up. North Carolina next year can go 10-2 and do some big things, and you can pull this and go, But
remember that?
But man,
remember when you said that?
The young wave is coming in, and they're just, I don't know, but we'll see. Mac Brown, good old Mac Brown.
Yep.
I just saw a comment on Facebook Live. Kyle Barr said Kerry stats, like how we say Eddie stats for Eddie Woodcock. It's
Kerry did drop some
now.
nice Urban stats in there.
Uh-oh.
So thanks for that, Kerry stats.
Uh-oh, Eddie's coming for the crown.
I don't think Eddie's in here. He's going to miss out. I appreciate everybody in the comment section. It's
we appreciate you guys.
An interesting day here. I certainly didn't expect to wake up and get this news.
It was quite funny. We were me and Jake were talking about what we were going to talk about. You know, we got the Big Ten title win. You know, the Rose Bowl is like weeks away. Do we really want to touch on that yet? We got a couple weeks to talk about that. We could talk some Buckeye basketball.
Yeah.
Boom. Urban Meyer's gone. Well, there it is.
Guess we have something to talk about.
We're going to talk about Urban Meyer today.
I mean, my goodness. Steve Waldron says just beat Michigan. Go Bucks. I like that. Anthony Rico says I wish Urban would go to the Packers.
I love this quote. Gary Lynn.
Gary Lynn. Damn.
Just say it right here. Just think how some fans get pissed and say our season's a bust when they lose one game. Mm-mm. One. What are they thinking now? One.
Better change your mindset.
Those are some shoes. Those are some shoes that Ryan Day has to fill. One game. He better go 102-0.
Who knows? Maybe he will. Maybe he'll be the best, like Gary said earlier. Maybe he'll be the best coach ever. Could be.
What's up, Anthony Rico?
Oh, well, folks, let me get into some quotes here. We'll talk about just kind of re-lead this whole situation. Urban Meyer announces he's retiring after the Rose Bowl. Ryan Day will be the next head coach. No interim tag, of course. Urban will have some sort of role in the athletic department, assisting with some recruiting and others, fundraising and that sort of thing. I'll read these stats again for Urban just because I can, and they're ridiculous. 82-9.
90%.
In 7 years. 82 wins, 9 losses. 7 years. 3 Big Ten titles, 57-5 in the conference. 57-5 in the Big Ten in 7 years. 24 straight wins to start his time here. 1 national title, 7-0 against the Wolverines. That's the big one right there. I love that one. So, at the press conference today, Urban had some good quotes, sort of some interesting ones as well, and really sort of, I think, gave his public opinion of his health for the first time. He's talking about his, coaching style. It's very intense, and he can't really do that with the headaches and the cyst and it leaking into us. I mean, it's brutal, really, to think about. He does not believe he'll coach again, and it was his goal to hand off the program to an elite coach in person. And here's the big one. He began thinking of stepping down due to his health during last year's Penn State game. The 39-38 game in the Horseshoe, JT Barrett hits his last 16 passes, throws 160 yards and 3 scores in the fourth quarter, and we win. An absolutely magnificent game. I mean, that was one. I went home. I left the place I was because I was so pissed. I think it was like a 4th and 1 or something, and we were going for it at midfield, down a touchdown or down 2 touchdowns, and we fumbled the exchange on the read option. I was like, done. I'm out.
Yeah.
Somehow we come back and win. But Urban said specifically that game was where it must have just been the most stressed he'd been maybe at Ohio State. And the headaches got to him, and that's when he first started thinking about maybe he shouldn't be doing this anymore. That was interesting to me because we hadn't heard that until today when he said, yeah, last year's Penn State game, that's when it really started getting to me. You got something over there?
Just reading these comments. We have a little trivia. Urban's winning percentage is 90%. To be technical, is .901.
There you go.
I rounded down to 90%. I can't round up. But when I heard that, it was shocking, to say the least. That game was stressful for everyone.
Oh, my gosh.
The roller coaster of all roller coasters. JT Barrett was the greatest quarterback to ever live in Ohio State history that night. You couldn't tell anybody any different. He was back on the Heisman race.
He was going to win the Heisman.
Everybody who was
certain.
doubting JT, shut up.
Mm-hmm.
Everybody who loved JT was like, ha, in your face. I told you he was the greatest thing ever. He just proved it. And then we all know what happened next. But we're not going to talk about that. We're talking about Penn State. And that's the game he thought. He thought about it. You would think that's a game of, victory and cheer and joy. No. That was the game he considered. I said, that's deep. That's after a win. That's not a loss. That's a win. And
that's how you know it's it's really intense. He also said he expects Ryan Day on the recruiting trail immediately. Quote, Ryan's going to be in 4 states tomorrow. He better be. I like that one. I mean, that's the job. That's the job. You don't go out tonight with your, maybe you do tonight. I don't know, depending on their schedule or when he's got to be out tomorrow. But there's not a whole lot of celebration, I don't think, for Ryan Day right now. Not just yet, because it is the most important time of the recruiting season. He's got to do his job as the head football coach of the Ohio State University. He's got to go meet a lot of people. And
let's get to it. You got to get to it.
We'll get to it. I'm excited to see how he does. He was asked about he and Shelley enjoying the Michigan game. Coach Meyer was, because obviously they were very emotional afterwards. You probably saw the pictures of or the video of Urban's wife Shelley just sobbing, tears of joy after the 62-point
beat down
over the Wolverines 2 Saturdays ago.
You guys are still terrible.
And he said, where's the quote here? That was one of the greatest moments of our life. Talking about him and Shelley. That's I'm pretty sure they knew at that point that was it. And he gets to go out on top like that. Man, 7-0 against the Wolverines in a game they were favored by 5 in our place. He's like, boy, if you don't.
And when you think about after the end of that game, they knew. They knew right there. That's why they were so emotional. Mm-hmm. I didn't put 2 and 2 together, but they knew after that beat down they put on that terrible team up north, they knew that was it. That was it. They knew it. They said, we did what we came to do. It's time to hand the keys over to Mr. Day.
Everybody in the comment section, appreciate you. Everybody saying, can we get the athletic director, Gene Smith, and President Michael Drake to go as well? I'm one of the few that really supports Gene Smith, actually. I think he's done a fantastic job. Certainly there are a few things that he's done that I haven't liked. However, the coaches that he's brought in, just really all across the athletic department, have been fantastic. Now, President Michael Drake, that's a different story. I'm not a big fan. But I do like Gene Smith and for what he's done for this program. A lot of folks in the comments here, Frankie, Kyle Elliott, Debbie Bear, and Sandra Hutchinson. Appreciate you folks in here. So, it's been, I think everybody is, it's a bittersweet time, because we realize what he has done for the program and are so grateful for Coach Meyer. It seems like a clean time. It doesn't feel like, he's certainly not screwing us over as Buckeye fans. And if he does end up going to coach somewhere else a few years down the line, I tell you what, I won't be is somebody from Florida who just hates his absolute guts for leaving.
Because we're better people than that here. Yeah. Well, at least we are. I don't know about everybody else. We're better people here. We've went through that long talk about Urban Meyer, and we forgot to tell people this is Fan Chat Nation, a Producer G production.
I think I opened the show with it.
Okay, just want to say
just
that.
Barely.
On iTunes, Google Play.
There we go.
SoundCloud. And what are you watching on? iPhone, Android, iPad, Let us know.
Our boy Brian had us up on the 60-inch TV last week.
Yeah.
That's a new one.
So let us know what you are watching on and where are you watching from.
Bingo.
Yes.
David Campbell, one of the many day puns in the thread. It's a new day coming. Cody says, love the show. Thanks, Cody. And he thinks that we are in good hands with Coach Day. I agree with that. Zach Knox says, I live in Florida. They still talk about it. Yeah, I'm not going to be one of those guys.
Me neither.
It's just super pissed if Urban takes another job.
What if he goes to Michigan?
He will not. Then I'd be pissed. Then you wouldn't see me on this show anymore because I'd be in prison.
Vic says he's in Fort Lauderdale. Shar
Thanks,
says
Vic.
Shar is on an iPad.
There you
Linda
go.
listening from Minneapolis, Minnesota. And Big C over on YouTube says Urban Meyer might be gone, but Michigan still sucks.
Let's go. Big
Yeah.
C.
Big
Always
C.
hitting us with it.
And he's watching from Las Vegas on his computer.
There you go.
Hoping my boss doesn't walk in.
Oh, Big C, my boy, for that one.
That's what I'm talking about.
Linda Maxwell is in Minneapolis, Minnesota. Say what's up to our boys Pat Elfline and Jalen Holmes out there. Timothy Roberts in the Queen City. Let me know what part of Cincy that is, Timothy. I've spent plenty of time down there.
And Alan Russell has been campaigning for Carrie Lynn this whole show. I just want to throw that out there.
Alan.
He said, add Carrie Lynn to your guys' show and you guys would rock.
Carrie Lynn is a vital part of this show. She does a ton of work for us. We're very appreciative.
Yes.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead. I was just saying, I was agreeing with you.
Oh, okay. I didn't know where I was going from. Cody's watching on his Android from Georgia. Cheryl West in here. Be healthy. Stay strong, Coach Meyer. What a great coach you have been. Ain't that the truth? Kyle Elliott in North Carolina. Sean McCarthy said, I thought we were doomed when Tressel left. We'll be fine. You were feeling the same way. That sucked.
I didn't know Urban Meyer was on the table, but
sure.
You know.
I remember I hated Urban Meyer's guts so bad until late November in 2011 when I heard Urban Meyer's going to be the new head coach, and I was like, I love Urban Meyer.
But
he's a fantastic coach,
but
clean guy.
I didn't hate Tressel. I didn't.
No, I
didn't hate him I didn't even hate that part. I'm like, hey man, he was sticking up for his players. I was like, man, he had their back.
Tattoo Gate. What a joke,
back, man. I hate the NCAA. I was mad at them.
The NCAA is the worst part about college football. Dave Kelly agrees. This was planned from the beginning of the season. Now Ohio State can tell the NCAA the problem is gone. Oh, Zach Knox says, what's the over-under? Urban will be carried off the field.
100.
Bet the mortgage.
Oh, they win. There will be 3 Gatorades dumped on him.
Yep.
He will be hoisted on their shoulders.
Yeah, absolutely. We'll probably be bringing a live play-by-play for that one, and I'm going to need some tissues, folks, because I was getting emotional listening to him on the press conference today. I'm really going to miss Coach Meyer. Man, that's for sure. But I'm really glad that he wants to stick around. He wants to be a part of the program still, and he'll be around. So that's great. Excited for that. Christine Schultz streaming on another 60-inch, and I too am in Florida, Jacksonville, to be exact. Sorry. What's up, Christine? Defend Meyer all day, every day. OHIO. Randy Russell's in Clemson, South Carolina, on his iPhone, representing for us there in enemy territory. Clinton Masters in Miamisburg. Our guy, Frankie, iPhone from Japan.
Oh, yeah.
Great job, guys.
We didn't
with
reach
the cheers.
We didn't reach Japan.
Dang.
Woo! That's what I'm talking
Everything
about.
Buckeye Nation show.
Yes. Did you see Carrie's last comment?
No.
Oh, she made another one out. Now who on ESPN, who are they going to talk about? And Brett McMurphy.
Oh.
Brett McMurphy is in tears. He has no more stories. What is he going to do? What is he going to do? I seen Urban Meyer at Kroger. He was not buying any Bob Evans. I thought he sponsored them. What is he going to do? What is he going to do?
He's going to come out with something about Ryan Day in 1992 not rewinding the VHS before he returns it to Blockbuster.
Yeah, well, what his career is now in shambles.
I hate that dude.
Great point, Kerry. Brett McMurphy is done. I'm going to follow his Twitter to see what he tweets about now.
I blocked him, so I don't have to. Timothy Roberts corrects me. Charlotte, North Carolina is the Queen City.
Oh.
I beg to differ.
Alan says, Brett, who that dude's a clown? He sure is, but now I want to see what his life is going to turn into. His meal ticket is gone.
I'm sure he'll come up with some fantastic story now that Urban is going to retire. He's maybe got one more ace in the hole to put out. I don't know, man. He is terrible.
On the day he beat Michigan, Urban Meyer, the untold story, 30 for 30.
What if I told you?
Brett McMurphy.
He may have been 7-0, but Alan Russell is watching on his iPhone in Arkansas. Thank you. Sean McCarthy is in Detroit. Appreciate that. David Campbell says, you guys have gone international.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. We had somebody in Barcelona watching a few times ago. That was pretty cool, too.
We getting big time.
Dude's a clown. Appreciate that, Alan. Yes, indeed. Steve.
We got Fickle again.
Yeah, I don't want I think Luke Fickle's doing just fine there in Cincinnati. His family's there. He's happy there. I'm a big fan of Luke Fickle and a big fan of the Bearcats, so I think that program can just chill, you know. He doesn't need to leave, you know, go take another job. I think Luke Fickle's happy there. He's building something special there.
He can stay in Cincinnati. I'm still a little meh on Fickle.
Yeah.
Meh.
Ben Montez, what's up? Appreciate you guys.
What up, Ben?
Alan Russell, you guys are awesome.
Thank you, Alan. Appreciate you.
Mike Dye, Urban will always be a legend in my mind and the greatest coach in Ohio State history. That is cool, man. You know, this is going to develop into quite the debate. Who's the best coach of all time at Ohio State? And everybody's going to say Woody. Some will probably say Herb. Some will probably say Tressel. But I think it's pretty clear it's those three.
No one will say Cooper.
No. Really, for the sole reason that he went 2-10-1 against the Wolverines.
Yeah.
He won a whole lot of ball games, but not the ones that matter the most. So nobody's going to say Cooper. But that'll be something we can, you know, dive into in the off season and stuff. And it is kind of funny that you mentioned, you know, what are we going to talk about? Because we were last night. I was texting Corey like, bro, what do I put on this prep sheet? I got like stats from the Northwestern game, a little bit of Buckeye basketball, and then wouldn't you know, Urban comes through clutch for us this morning. Yeah. I mean, we haven't even talked about anything else.
Yeah,
we're coming up on 50 minutes here.
Yeah,
but that's what's going to happen with a guy like Urban Meyer. Carrie Lynn with a Star Wars joke.
It would have been 12 minutes. Think about that. We were going to do an hour. Remember?
When we had nothing to talk about. Steve says Urban, then Tressel. Oh, Woody, then Urban, then Tressel. Okay. I think that's pretty I think that'll be the consensus.
I think Tressel's 2 national championship losses kind of bring him down a little bit in people's eyes.
Those do sting. 1-2, Urban Meyer.
Yeah.
Man. Alan Russell says ESPN is throwing a party tonight. Timothy Roberts, new listener this season. Will y'all still be on during the off season? Yes. Thank you for asking.
What he said.
That's about it. Still tinkering with some time ideas. You know, we might cut it down from an hour and a half to an hour, but probably going to be same. You know, we'll probably still be here Tuesdays. We'll figure it out. We'll let y'all know. I mean, we're going to be around talking Buckeye basketball throughout the whole season, up to the NFL draft, summer, and, you know, spring. By the time spring ball comes around, we'll be talking football again, and that's exciting. So we'll be here. We'll be here year round. We're going on.
You're not going to get rid of us that easy.
This is like our 14th month or something of doing this show, maybe 15th. I mean, we've been cranking it out for a while here, so we appreciate you being with us and for the future.
Lee says just it here. Where's John and his meatloaf?
We haven't seen John Goddard yet. Maybe his wife got to him before he could fire it up. Steve Waldron says basketball team looks real good so far. We can talk a little bit Buckeye hoops here in a little bit if we get to it. So just to wrap up some of these things here, well, let me get to some Ryan Day quotes from the press conference too, because I haven't touched on those. He was extremely grateful, thanked pretty much everybody he could, everybody above him, all the players, all the coaches, the whole staff, his family in New Hampshire, everybody. This is a big deal, you know. He's never going to forget this. Ryan Day's 39. He could be coaching Ohio State for 20 years, 30 years. He could have a Woody, like, what did Woody have, like 28 years or something at Ohio State?
Yeah, he could be here for a long time.
Well, you know, and I hope he is, because I like the guy, and if he's here for that long, clearly he's doing something right. So we'll see. He said, quote, "My pledge to the players is our staff is going to give you every opportunity to maximize yourself." He said, "It will continue to be our top priority to recruit the best high school football players in Ohio." And, quote, "It didn't take long for me to figure out what the expectations are for Ohio State football. Number one, win the rivalry game. And number two, win every game after that." I like that, man. Number one,
beat Michigan.
Beat your rival. That's what I'm talking about, man. I love it. He also said, and I found this to be interesting, kind of a shout out to potential recruits. "I feel confident about our offense's ability to adapt to our personnel year in and year out." No trying to, basically he's saying, "Dwayne, I'm not going to make you run the ball. I will make the offense around you. You guys will not be a square peg trying to be put in a round hole, because that's killed us before." We tried, in 2015, we tried to run Cardale Jones, have him run JT Barrett's offense. Like, it just didn't work. And it's not going to happen now.
That made me happy. I was like, thank you.
We will adapt our offense to fit our personnel. It's like, oh.
Let him throw it. You see what happened when that man threw the ball? I'm just saying. He could have had 600 yards.
There were some times in the middle of the season this year when we were playing like Indiana, Minnesota, Nebraska, and it was not looking pretty. And a bunch of people in the comments section, including myself, were saying like, something's different. Now, after the first 3 games of the season, our offense looked fantastic. Now, I don't know what's going on. Weird play calling. That will not be an issue anymore. Everybody calling for Ryan Day to call the plays. Well, here you go.
We'll have a new quarterback next year to, change his playbook again.
Sure will. Mike Dye says, "Let's just hope we keep that pipeline open to Florida and Texas for recruiting." I think that's a very good point. We gotta keep our presence in Florida, Texas. We've got a few California guys, but not really. But those big states, obviously Ohio. I hope we recruit Ohio more, but I'm not sure that that'll be done.
Day did state in his press conference that he wants to look and make sure he keeps the kids in Ohio.
Well, I hope so.
So that's something to take a look at. Ohio kids.
Kyle Elliott, has Haskins announced his plans going forward after this year?
Nope.
He has not.
He gone.
But
he gone.
We know.
He gone.
And he should be gone.
He should be. There's no point to come back. What individually, what else could he do this year that next year they didn't do this year besides win the Heisman?
Which he still might do.
Individually win the Heisman, which he's not going to. I'm telling you that right now. He's not going to win the Heisman, which I think if you do it per numbers, why wouldn't he win the Heisman?
Well, that's the thing. Dwayne Haskins has the best, and that's funny that because this happened last night. Dwayne Haskins was named a Heisman finalist last night. He, Tua Tagovailoa from Alabama, and Kyler Murray from Oklahoma. Haskins has the best stats of all 3 and played the best defenses of all 3. And he's going to finish 3rd.
He's going to finish 3rd. Kyler Murray is going to win the Heisman.
You think so?
Kyler Murray is going to win the Heisman.
All right.
I think that last game of Tua, I'm never going to say his name right. Whatever you call him. I think that hurt him. I think Kyler Murray is going to win the Heisman. Their excuse is going to be he was the main reason they got into the playoffs. In Alabama, the backup quarterback came in the game, and he won the game. Kyler Murray is the Heisman winner.
And good for him. He's put up ridiculous numbers all year, and he's extremely exciting to watch, that's for sure. But
Haskins should be the Heisman winner. And I know people are going to say, well, you're an Ohio State fan. Of course you're going to say that. I'm going by the numbers and wins. It ain't like he was 8-4. He was 12-1. One loss.
And in that one loss, he set the Ohio State passing game record, single game passing yards record.
Hello. That should be your Heisman winner, but you're right. He will come in third. He will have the least amount of first place votes.
And then he'll go put up 400 on Washington.
Yeah. To me, that was like here, we'll just invite you. That's what that felt like to me.
Well, he deserves to be there.
No, he deserves to be there, but it was just like, we'll invite you and give you third place.
Urban Meyer said after the Northwestern game that he would fly Dwayne to New York himself if he wasn't invited.
Also, how many years has Haskins been a starting quarterback in college football? 1? Yeah. 1 year.
And he's doing this.
1. And he had to run an offense that wasn't his a lot of the time.
Well, see, that's the big one. Because the other two guys, Kyler Murray and Tua, weren't starters last year. They had guys ahead of them. But Haskins, I mean, those offenses are tailor-made for those guys.
Right.
Haskins, like we said earlier, has kind of been almost a square peg in a round hole this year at points. Trying to run the read option. Dude doesn't want to run the ball. That's not his skill set. And yet he's still putting up these ridiculous numbers. Lee Travis asks if it's Tate's job to lose next year. I'd have to think so. Yeah, I mean, dude's got to play.
Yeah, he's going to.
And you know what? They're going to let him throw the ball.
And it's going to be interesting to see what the offense looks like with Tate Martell.
Yeah.
It really will, with Ryan Day calling the offense. Let's see how he uses Tate Martell, because we know how Urban would use him. But how is Ryan going to use him? Very interesting.
I am licking my chops over that one. That is going to be really nice. I'm so excited. It's setting up very well for the Buckeyes next year. Dwayne is going to go pro. It's a good transition time for the Buckeyes, for Urban to step away and hand this well-oiled machine over to Ryan Day. It's very similar to the Bob Stoops, Lincoln Riley turnover at Oklahoma. It was kind of surprising. Bob Stoops just up and quit out of nowhere. Now this we could kind of see coming over the last year or so. Regardless, there's a hot, young, upstart, smart, offensive-minded offensive coordinator, and they think that they're the next big thing. So Bob Stoops hands over the reins to Lincoln Riley, and they've been fairly dominant with this new, fresh offense. I mean, Baker Mayfield won the Heisman Trophy last year. Kyler Murray's probably going to win the Heisman Trophy this year. Back-to-back years for a Lincoln Riley quarterback. Mm-hmm. And that's kind of what the Buckeyes are going for here with Ryan Day. And who knows? Maybe Tate Martell will win the Heisman next year. Mark it down right now.
He should. And you know what? To be honest with you, he would have a better chance than Dwayne Haskins.
You think so?
Yeah, I'm going to tell you why. He would have yards through the air and with his legs. Seriously. Dwayne Haskins almost threw 5,000 yards, and he's not going to win.
47 touchdowns.
And he's not going to win. Really? Okay. Tate Martell, he will do both.
Yeah.
He will run a lot. And you know they love to see a quarterback run.
Apparently so. That's what it takes. Apparently that's what it takes to win the Heisman Trophy nowadays. If you're a quarterback. When's the last time a tailback won it? Mark Ingram or Derrick Henry did a few years ago.
Yeah.
Both Bama tailbacks. It's interesting. And they haven't done very well in that. Well, Mark Ingram's he's good.
Yeah, and Kyler Murray runs.
Murray runs all over the field.
All the time. So, yeah. But I truly believe he's going to win it. I could be wrong, but I truly think he's going to win the Heisman.
Carrie Lynn says, I hope the Steelers draft Haskins. OMG,
God,
that
please
would be
no.
lovely.
Please, Lord Jesus, no. Please, no.
I am saying the same thing because then I'd have to be a Steelers fan, and I don't want to do that.
I wouldn't. I would just go into the fetal position and cry.
No. I mean, you got to root for the kid wherever he goes. So I'm hoping.
I don't have to do anything.
Oh my God, dude!
What?
This is fantastic, Lee Travis. Your boy's in here. Comment from Jenny Goddard. This is John Goddard. I'm in Facebook jail. Don't ask, in parentheses. So I'm using the wife's cell phone. Shh. John, you continue to be a Buckeye Nation legend.
John Goddard is the Buckeye Nation legend.
Holy smokes.
Wow.
What's for dinner tonight, Jenny? Let us know. Appreciate you guys.
Carrie said, Corey, stop hating. I'm speaking truth. Okay?
My mom said, you cannot be a Steelers fan. I'm going to be a fan of whoever Haskins goes to.
I can't.
Cowboys won.
I can't. I need a Steelers.
Right now, I don't have a full second.
I need one of them top teams to be smart. Look at this man's talent, and you pick him, okay? Giants, you're on the clock.
No.
49ers,
No.
you're on the clock.
Niners, okay.
Who else is up there?
They just paid Jimmy G, though.
I don't care. Anybody up there.
The Raiders.
You're on the clock.
Hey, I'd be a Raiders fan.
Anybody. You're on the clock.
Sign me up. Give me Dwayne in Oakland / Vegas when they move to Vegas in a couple years. That's what I'm talking about. Jeremy says, how about Cincinnati? I don't know about that.
No,
They're
not them either.
Andy Dalton. I don't want him to go to Cincinnati strictly because they
He'll
are
have
garbage.
He'll have you.
Oh, no.
Good gracious.
No.
I don't want him to go down that lane.
Carrie says she'll welcome me into the Steelers fanhood with open arms.
No.
No. I really hope not.
They got Big Ben. They don't need him.
Ooh.
They don't need him.
We got the dinner update.
Uh-oh.
Taco Bell. He said, I won't be taking the wife's phone into the bathroom tonight. Trust me on that one. No meatloaf. Did you order the meatloaf from Taco Bell? Yikes. Cody's in here saying go Steelers.
Oh, my goodness. What is up with this? Good gracious.
A lot of Steelers fans.
Go Chargers, go. Go Chargers, go. Chargers could use them.
Jeremy says Tampa. I'd be all right with that.
Yo.
I got nothing against Tampa.
They could use them because Winston is just.
What's it? That's a W. Man. I knew when I saw that, I knew he was
over.
Man is.
That was one of the worst.
Holy.
That was
smokes.
one of the worst pump up speeches ever. I think I would have went to the locker room like, okay,
who is this man? And then I think they lost to the Ravens the next week because Joe Flacco was doing it in the postgame presser. I was like, oh man, now you know it's bad.
That was
Joe
terrible.
Flacco's ripping you. Yikes. Clinton Masters says Dallas. Him with Zeke. I mean, I would cry, dude. I would absolutely cry.
Jerry
Tears
Jones
of joy.
isn't smart enough to do that. Okay,
They'd have to trade. Well, they don't. What they don't have is a first round pick anyway.
Right, yeah.
And right now they're tied for the lead. They would go to the playoffs.
Atlanta
today.
needs him because they have Matt Ryan. They're not winning anything with Matt Ryan.
Matty Ice.
Nothing. The man who gave a 28-3 Super Bowl lead. You will not win nothing with Matt Ryan.
Timothy Roberts says Haskins would fit better in New England, to be honest, and he would.
No, that's another no.
We need to make maybe next week.
No New England,
leading up
no
to the
Pittsburgh,
draft.
no Cincinnati, no Baltimore. Those are the 4 teams you can't go to.
All right,
I can live with anybody else.
really?
Yeah. I can live with anybody else.
I can live with anybody outside of the NFC East, like you mentioned.
Right.
So no Giants. Definitely no Eagles. I mean, they got Wentz. They're not. Right. And then, but Washington. I mean, they're clearly they had a pretty solid team this year, and then just got decimated by injuries. Alex Smith should retire. Colt McCoy should retire. Mark Sanchez is their starting quarterback right now. Man, I would not like to see him go to. But you know what? That's kind of a hometown thing for him. DC, he's from Maryland.
That's fine.
That would,
That's fine.
That would fit well.
I don't care.
Really don't want the Steelers.
No.
Really don't want the Patriots.
Please, no. Good gracious.
Anybody else, I'd probably be all right. Linda Powell, I'd love to see him in Tampa Bay.
That's fine. I'll take it.
I'm all right with that.
That's
Sure.
cool with me.
Los Dos says, facts, being a Falcons fan is the worst. We would take him. Carrie says Bosa and Haskins to the Steelers.
Oh,
come on.
No.
They're both going to be top 10 picks.
Right.
That ain't happening.
You guys are not going to have close to a top 10 pick.
Haskins to Detroit, Noel says. I wouldn't be a huge fan of that, but I don't really care. I mean, he's going to go top 10. That's for sure. So, and you know what? I saw a mock draft today that I saved to look at strictly because I wanted to see where Haskins was, because this is Matt Miller of Bleacher Report, and the header photo is our boy Dwayne Haskins. So let's see where he's got.
Where is he going?
Right now he's got Nick Bosa going number 1
to the 49ers.
That'd be a good pick. They need an edge. Let's see. I'm just going to do the old control technique. He's got Dwayne Haskins to the
Tampa
Buccaneers.
Bay at number 12.
Okay.
That's a little low for me, but I'll take it.
Not a top 10. Are you crazy?
He should be in the top 10. Who is this draft expert? Come on. Top 10, Dwayne Haskins.
Hey, man. Sign me up for...
Allen, he is not going to the Colts to sit behind Andrew Luck. You're my guy, but come on.
Come on, man. Allen, what are you doing being a Colts fan in Arkansas? It's kind of a strange comparison there.
Laura said Cowboys, and she only has to watch one team.
Dude, I would do horrible things for Dwayne Haskins.
What about the Saints?
That'd be tight. I'd be all over. Dwayne, they might take over my second. They might be my new favorite team. I don't know.
Jenny Goddard says, is Haskins leaving confirmed? We have a new viewer, Jenny Goddard.
Jenny Goddard, who is that?
It's not confirmed.
No, but he's got to go, right?
Like, I don't see him coming back.
Next year,
really
if he stays, the only thing he would do the only pros for him to stay would be to get your college degree, and I mean, really, that's it. I mean, give Ryan Day a shot and try to win a national championship, try to win the Heisman Trophy. He's not going to come back and do that. Not to mention, this quarterback class is garbage. I mean, the number one...
And it's perfect for him to come out.
Yeah, he's got to come out now because he'll be picked way higher this year than if he would go next year, because then you got to compete with Tua Tagovailoa and Jake Fromm out of Georgia, who's been praised as this elite quarterback prospect like Andrew Luck since high school.
Right.
And he's pretty solid there in Georgia. Kid can sling the ball around, but he's got to go this year. It's just going to make way too much sense for him to go this year.
Hey, Carrie is in there. She's in the comment section throwing shots, but that is okay.
Oh.
They usually don't draft QBs early unless you're a Brown, and then you always draft QBs first. I've lost count how many they've had. That's fine. That's fine.
But they don't take quarterbacks first.
Yeah. It's okay. Except Baker.
Yeah.
That's our first
that's
pick.
Fine.
Yeah. But now, we ain't taking one next year.
Nope.
How about that? It's okay, though. It's all right. That is okay.
Everybody thinks Brady's retiring. Drew Brees is about to retire. They're saying Patriots. They're saying Saints. Randy Russell says my Saints will take him. Drew Brees is not. I
don't know if he's retiring anytime soon.
Not with Michael Thomas.
Not with that
balls.
Squad he got. He about to live in that little chamber.
Los Does says, I think he wants a Heisman, but Martell will leave. Tate Martell definitely. He's out of here if Dwayne comes back. So I don't think it's happening. I really don't.
Clyde says it too much to want Haskins to go to the Browns. It's never too much. I'll take both of them.
Hey.
Dual quarterback systems.
Yeah, your favorite. Everybody knows Corey loves
I thought you hated him. Not with Haskins. That's my guy.
John says, Jenny is already asleep. This is John Goddard. No meatloaf for me if she catches me on her phone. Carrie Lynn, oh, baby, that cheater Brady isn't retiring. You have to remember they have all these rules now to protect the quarterback. That is true. Steve says, LOL, get his degree. Nothing in the NFL is guaranteed. You lose half your rookie contracts as an underclassman. But
he would have to say, how many more years do you have to stay to get his degree?
Just one.
One more? That's it? No. Still go. You go. Look at Matt Leinart. That's all I got to say.
Oh, dude.
Look at Matt Leinart. Okay?
Matt Barkley, too, another SC quarterback. He could have been a top 5 pick, but he wanted to come back and get his degree and win that national title. Yeah. And then he looked like a dumpster fire in human form. And he's like the third-string quarterback for the Eagles, maybe? Matt Barkley played meaningful snaps earlier this year.
I think it is the Eagles.
I'm not a big Matt Barkley guy. Buffalo Bills now. That's right. Because he came in, he beat somebody. The Bills beat somebody with Matt Barkley at quarterback.
Ron says, hate to tell you, but the Giants are going to be looking for another QB. Eli has to go. They better be looking for a QB.
Man,
Eli is terrible. Could you imagine? Could you imagine Haskins and Odell? I know you don't. I'm just saying. I get it because that's how I feel about certain teams. But man, Odell will be like, "Thank you, somebody to throw me the ball. I got to throw the ball myself now. I got to throw touchdowns."
Odell's throwing touchdown passes. He threw a touchdown pass on Sunday. Not to himself, but hell, he's going to need to. I would be upset if he went to New York, but I wouldn't be upset as upset if he went to Philadelphia, which he won't, or Pittsburgh or New England.
Pittsburgh and New England's out of the realm.
Unless they trade way up.
New England needs to feel what it feels like to not have a great quarterback, okay? It's enough. They've had their time in their cheating ways. I don't want Haskins to get, sunk in to that cheating cesspool.
You're right. Los Dos with the question of the night. Real question.
I like that.
The NCAA football game back? I tell you what, I would spend so much money on that game. I would go out and buy a new console if I had to just for that game. Dude, I still play NCAA 14. I was playing it last night on my Xbox 360.
Oh, man.
It's slow. It doesn't work well on my big screen TV, but I still play it. And I got Dynasty mode up and running. Got a nice recruiting class coming in.
Hey, man.
G's laughing over there, but
man, I would love it.
Man.
NCAA, man, you had the Dynasty was off the chain. It was just something about it when the screen shook. And if your quarterback wasn't good, he had question marks. Like, who am I throwing to?
Well, yeah, right. It's like shaking, the pre-play. Man. And then you got the last game they made was the last game before the playoff system.
Yeah.
So that's the kind of the bummer. I win my conference championship game, and then it's like you got 12-0 Navy in the championship game. I'm like, man, come on. Don't give me that.
Yeah, man.
Yeah. Producer G was just saying you pick your own team, but you can also pick the head coach or just the offense coordinator or the defense coordinator, and that's all you worry about is
Carrie Lynn just threw out her Xbox One's gamer tag.
Oh.
She is throwing out the gauntlet to anybody with Xbox One.
Buckeyes Girl 84, let's go.
She threw out the gauntlet.
She said, who's
Alan
trying to
said,
play?
I will blow you out on 14, bro. He is calling you out.
Yeah,
trash talk in the comment section. Jake said he would whitewash you in the first half, 21 points. And he said he'll use Navy to do it. Ooh.
Actually, I do. I would. I love running the option. I got to say. Gee, is that really your name? Chill. I don't want to play you. I'm like nervous. I'm like scared that that's your name. I'm like, damn.
Gary going Doomsday 12.
Damn.
We need some
Randy Russell says they have a new college game coming out. It's called Gridiron Champions. Not the same as NCAA, but it may be decent. I have heard a little bit about that. I'd be excited to see what they come out with.
Alan Russell threw out the gauntlet to Carrie. He said, bet, Carrie, when you want to go.
Oh,
shoot.
Yeah, it's and it is cool. As Clinton Master says here, EA roster updates the rosters for current teams and names for NCAA 14. And no, Cody, it does not work on the Xbox One. It's not backwards compatible, which is not chill. Yeah. You got to play it on a 360 or a PS3.
Yeah.
But it is cool, man. I mean, because every year in like August, you can download the new rosters. And I don't think EA does it. It's like a set group of guys that do it, and they do all this work on the recruiting and all the, player development and that stuff for a new roster every year. I read an article about it, and it's really cool what they do. So you can go download NCAA 14 Xbox 360 Ohio State roster, and you got Dwayne Haskins as 93 quarterback, and J.K. Dobbins, Paris Campbell. It's
93.
That's pretty.
Should be 98.
And you got Nick Bosa on the edge. Man, that would. Alan Russell says we'd have to flip on who gets the Buckeyes. I don't have to play as the Buckeyes. You can. I wouldn't like to. Oh, actually, if we're playing with the old rosters, we are not doing that because you'd have Braxton Miller.
Oh, I will run anybody with Braxton Miller.
That's good stuff, man.
So you want to get to this game real quick? Big
Which
Ten
game?
Championship.
Oh, sure.
Yeah, that game.
Like NCAA 14? Sure. All right, let's wrap things up here tonight with a little Big Ten championship talk. Because if you didn't know, Ohio State Big Ten champs once again.
Yeah.
Took care of business against Northwestern on Saturday. If you joined us here, we appreciate that. Whether you be on Facebook or YouTube, give us that like and that share. We appreciate it. That subscribe is the big one on YouTube, from what I've been told.
Subscribe.
Beat Northwestern 45-24. One good enough to get into the playoffs. We finished 6th in the rankings. They put Georgia ahead of us, which is bogus. But I don't think if it came down to it, say Oklahoma lost to Texas, I don't think they're putting Georgia in ahead of Ohio State. A 2-loss non-champ over a 12-1 Big Ten title. And Zach Kaiser's right. That third quarter was atrocious. I mean, I was really disappointed in the third quarter performance because there were a few things in the first half that if we could have fixed or did better, it would have been 31-7 or 38-7.
Yep.
And that's the kind of performance you need if you want to get into the playoffs. And then it was just 24-7. We come out in the second half, and I'm pretty sure Northwestern scores 2 straight touchdowns, and it's 24-21. And I'm like, dude, we were so disappointed sitting here calling this game. Mm-hmm. It's just like, what are we doing? Like, now this is a game. Like, we were sitting back having a good time. Third quarter performance was frustrating. You know, we didn't step on their throat. Some of the play calling I was frustrated with. We ran about like 5 or 6 run plays in a row that were like slow, delayed sweeps to the outside. And Mike Weber had nowhere to go. He got tackled for a 4-yard loss each time. We were sitting here pulling our hair out. What are you doing? Oh, my God. So frustrating. There was one play in particular I remember because we got a false start, I think, so it was 1st and 15. Then we ran 2 shitty run plays, and we had 3rd and 20. And then we threw the ball, and Haskins found McLaurin for a touchdown.
3rd and 23 to be exact.
Oh, my God.
I remember it. 3rd and 23. I lost my mind. Yep, 3rd and 23. I remember it.
I bet you.
How much you want to bet? You know I'm a gambler.
Oh.
Yeah.
I don't know. What do you want to bet?
Hey, whatever. We can bet whatever.
All right. All right. You want to bet what do you normally get at Wendy's? Yeah, I always see you coming in here with Wendy's. You get the 4 for $4?
No.
What?
Junior cheeseburgers and nuggets.
The nugs, though.
Yeah.
All right. 4-piece nugs.
All right.
From Wendy's.
Yeah, I'll take a 4-piece.
All right. We'll have to
appreciate you.
Figure it out. Let us know in the comments if you know. But Randy Russell says, where do you guys get your shirts from? I have tons. Just want more.
Buckeye store.
This
I get mine.
Was a Christmas gift. As was that.
Yeah.
Well, there you go. Oh, no. Clyde said, don't bet him, Jake. Oh, no. I might owe some nuggets. 4-piece nug. That is a risk I'm willing to take. Anyways.
Yeah. But, yeah, that game, man, I'm upset. And this is going to sound absolutely terrible, but I really don't care. I'm upset Dwayne Haskins only had 499 yards passing and 5 touchdowns because that Northwestern defensive backfield was absolutely atrocious. Yep. And I said it during the whole game. If you've seen bits or pieces of it or watched it at all, it was absolutely atrocious. And every play I said, we need to attack the defensive backs. Every time we lit them up, he literally should have threw at least 650 yards. Literally, if they let him play his game. Well, you can't throw every time. You can if their defenders suck.
Sure.
Okay? They were terrible. Johnny Dixon literally was beating his man every single time.
Dixon had a career
day. Like it was
nothing.
He was just like, dude, just give me the ball. Just give me the ball. The only receiver that had trouble was Ben Victor. That was it.
Go figure, man. I think Ben Victor and Damon Arnett are roommates. I don't hate Victor like I hate Arnett, but Victor needs to catch a damn ball. Overall, you know, it was a good season, and I'm proud of this team for overcoming some serious adversity. Of course, all the stuff before the season with Zach Smith Coach Meyer put on leave. He was suspended like 6 weeks, really only 3 games, but he was put on administrative leave in the first week of August. Didn't come back till late September. And then not only did all that happen, and then Nick Bosa leaves the team out of nowhere. That hurt. I mean, Coach Meyer himself, he said it. He was like, we didn't see that one coming. That really hurt our team. Just from the kind of guy he was, not only on the field, but really off the field and in the locker room. So it's
I'm not upset on the season, because I was saying when we were watching it, we're not getting in the playoffs. I was telling everybody it's not going to happen.
Yeah.
I was saying it's not happening. Well, no, it's not going to happen.
We knew at halftime.
It's over. And then you see where they ranked us, behind Georgia. So we would have had to win like 87-3 to have maybe a shot, maybe. Because they're saying Georgia was better than us with 2 L's.
Well, see, that's what I'm saying. I don't think if Oklahoma lost, I don't think that they would have put Georgia in ahead of us.
Yeah. No, I'm saying with the Oklahoma win, that's showing you what we had to do to even have a shot.
Oh yeah,
we had to beat them that bad. But I think the committee won't say this, but I think they count that Maryland as an L. I'm serious. They won't say it.
It was ugly, that's for sure. Yeah, Steve said we would have needed to win 59-0 like we did against Wisconsin. And who knows? Maybe that wouldn't have been enough. But overall, this was a really fun team to watch, mostly because we had Dwayne Haskins on offense, because we had such an exciting offense. Our defense was not fun to watch.
No, it wasn't.
That's for sure.
It was atrocious.
And Haskins, 34 of 41 passing, 499 yards, and 5 touchdowns. Did have a bad interception, but I think that was a miscommunication. He thought it was a corner route. Receiver ran an out route. Because it was a good ball. It wasn't wobbly. He didn't get hit. Yeah. Had to have been a miscommunication. But 34 of 41, 499, and 5 scores.
Should have been 600-something with about 7 scores. And I know that sounds me being greedy, but the Northwestern defensive backs were terrible. I'm just saying.
Yeah, they were no good. No good. Nice game from J.K. Dobbins. Had 68 rushing yards and 50 receiving yards, including a nice touchdown pass from Haskins. 118 yards, 1 touchdown. Pretty good. Not bad at all, actually. Johnny Dixon had the best game of his career. 7 grabs, 129 yards, 1 touchdown. Nice for the fifth-year senior to come away like that. Paris Campbell, 7 catches, 89 yards. Our boy, we'll be calling this man's name a lot over the next probably 2 years before he goes pro. Chris Olave. Boy, I really like this kid. 5 grabs, 79 yards, 1 touchdown. And Terry McLaurin in his home state, really his home stadium, Lucas Oil Stadium. He's from Indianapolis. 3 grabs, 78 yards, 2 touchdowns.
He's going to be a very good NFL wide receiver.
He does it all. He's extremely reliable, and he does everything well. He's fast. He's got good hands. He blocks so well. Urban was always talking about Terry blocking on the edge. That's why he plays so much. He's going to be a great pro. I don't think he gets drafted until, 3rd, 4th, 5th round, but very consistent player. On defense, Malik Harrison had 10 tackles. He's going to be a stud. Chase Young finally showed up. Had a lot of quarterback pressures. 3 tackles, all were for loss. 45-24, it was enjoyable. Hopefully we'll take care of business against Washington in the Rose Bowl. I have to think we will. They have a really good passing defense, so that should be exciting. A little storyline to follow. And Urban Meyer's never coached in the Rose Bowl, so he gets to do one last thing he hasn't done. Hopefully win a Rose Bowl, get carried off by his players, and you all get to see me cry live on air, because that probably will happen. I don't know. People are fighting about Nick Bosa in the comment section. I understand that.
Nick Bosa in the Oklahoma, Alabama, how bad Alabama's going to beat them. I see that too.
That'll be exciting to talk about over the next few weeks. Get a little playoff talk in there. And you want to touch on a few Buckeyes in the NFL and wrap it up?
Why not?
Why not? Seems like every week we lead off this segment with Ezekiel Elliott, and this week is no different. Zeke had 29 touches, 136 yards, and another touchdown. I mean, the dude is just a beast. Feed the kid. And it's amazing because Dallas has won, 4 in a row now, G? And they looked lost. I mean, and I was really upset. I was like, tank. And then they gave up they were 3-5, G says, and they gave up the first-round pick from Amari Cooper, and it didn't work out in the first game. And I was like, man, this sucks. And they gave up the first-round pick for that. And now, 4 in a row, they've started to feed Zeke. I mean, hell, we didn't do that a few times, and it killed us at Ohio State. 29 touches, 136 yards, 1 touchdown. He's a superstar. Speaking of superstars, Michael Thomas had kind of a weak game for his standards in the Cowboys-Saints game last Thursday. Just 5 grabs, 40 yards. Nothing big time. Other Saints in that game, Marshawn Lattimore had 10 tackles and a forced fumble. Von Bell had 6 tackles. Eli Apple was an absolute liability in coverage.
Absolute joke.
The rookie, Michael Gallup, was taking it to him. I saw a comment here, David Campbell, I was just about to get to. Taylor Decker, the former offensive tackle for the Buckeyes with a fat man touchdown. Let's go. Well, they were at the 11-yard line going in, and they brought in the extra offensive lineman, fake the run. It's a screen pass. Taylor Decker's wide open. He catches it like up top and like waddles into the end zone. Then he threw the ball into the stands. Did you see that?
Yep.
Because Decker was on Twitter after the game saying, I've been playing football since I was 4 and I've never scored a touchdown. I'd like to get that ball back. I was like, bro, why'd you throw it? Why'd you throw that away? I mean, I understand the celebration, I guess, but.
Hey, you only get in the end zone once.
Yeah.
That's the only thing he could think of.
Hey.
First thing that came to his mind.
That was his touchdown dance? I guess so. Joey Bosa had 7 tackles, 1 sack. Good to see him getting back into form after missing most of the season. Curtis Samuel for the Panthers. They had a really bad loss, but he had 6 catches and 88 yards, both career highs for the kid.
Hey.
That's what I like to see. Anything else you want to touch on?
No, I mean, we pretty much hit it all. You know, Haskins a monster. You know, I'm gonna keep relaying that. I got one more game to watch him here at the Ohio State University.
We hope. He says he's gonna play. He says he's gonna play.
Oh, he's playing.
Yeah,
he's playing.
Take him at his word. I mean, he said so.
Take him at his word. Draymond Jones isn't playing.
You don't think so? I mean,
I'll tell you that.
He said,
when you say,
I'll think about it.
We'll see.
Yeah.
He ain't playing.
Well, and then it came out that it's Urban's last game, so maybe he'll.
That could sway him.
Maybe he'll reconsider.
That could sway him. We'll see. As he said, we'll see.
Yeah, really, no kidding. Well, that's going to do it for us, folks. We will not be here on Saturday to bring you live play-by-play. Man, this season went by pretty quickly, huh?
Yes, it did.
We appreciate everybody who's joined us over the season. Of course, as somebody asked earlier, we will be here all the way through the off-season. So we will be here bringing you everything Buckeye Nation news, as always, of course. Still right now, 7:30 to 8:30?
7:30 to 8:30.
We'll be
1 hour
short. 1 hour next week, and probably from then on. But
Zach Kaiser said, no Navy Army play-by-play?
Not this time. I don't know. Maybe producer G will bring the beer mongers in again and try it again, have a good time, wake up feeling special. But we appreciate everybody joining us tonight, and say a prayer for Ryan Day. His life is changing overnight. It'll be interesting to see how he develops into a coach. He's just 39 years old, but
it's his show now.
And it's his show
now. The Ryan Day Show.
Absolutely.
The new coach, the new sheriff in town.
Hey.
3-0 Ryan Day.
Big man on campus.
Fact, he has never lost a football game.
That's a fact.
He is undefeated. The only undefeated Ohio State coach in Ohio State history.
Well, book it. 15-0 next year.
Yeah.
National champs. All right, folks, we appreciate you. And always, if you missed the show, you can rewatch or listen. Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, iTunes, SoundCloud, Google Play, everything Buckeye Nation, Fan Chat Nation. We're all over the place. We appreciate you. And that's going to do it for us. Producer G, Corey Boyd. I'm Jake Smith signing off, saying go Bucks. And OH.
I.
Oh. See you, folks.
Yeah.